You've had enough. You're done. Well, today we're going to talk about what to do when you're just not feeling it to get back in it, get back in where you want to be. So step number one, if we want to get back into it, we want to get the feeling back, right? We want to get that love and feeling back because sometimes you've lost that love and feeling. Well, step number one is we've got to take a step back. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of times we've been pushing so hard that we're just burnt out. We're burnt out. We're tired. We're worn out. We've had enough. You're not getting enough sleep. You went night. So sometimes we've got to take a step back and reflect a little more on the self-care, right? We've got to start taking care of ourselves. And you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you're in it for a season and you're just driving and you're pushing and you're striving so hard. And we need to pause, take a step back, sleep, go get a massage, take our nutrition seriously, and regroup, right? We've got to reflect, take time to reflect. What is it really that's not working out? And take a step back and rest. Now, once we've read it, our mind is significantly our inner circle. Now, what do I mean by our inner circle? Who do we surround ourselves with? Are the people that we are surrounding ourselves with, are they inspiring us? Are they lifting us up? Are they picking us up? Are the things they're working on inspiring us to want to do a little more work on what we're working on, right? The inner circle that we keep makes all the difference in the world, because a lot of times we'll find that we're just not feeling it because the people we've surrounded ourselves with just aren't feeling it, right? They're not getting the job done. They're not doing anything. And we wonder why we're not inspired when they're not inspired. No. Let's tap into a greater inner circle. Now, what does that mean? That means if we're not connected with the right people currently, then let's add people to our inner circle. Let's network up, so to speak. All right. So the network. So number one, again, take a step back, take the deep breath, relax a little bit, get the oxygen back in the body, get the sleep back in the body, get the nutrients back in the body, and then inner circle up, which means take it to the next level. Maybe they're not perfect at it, but they're doing inspiring things that we can aspire to. Again, number three, tie up loose ends. Well, what do you mean by tie up loose ends, David? Tying up loose ends means there's quite a few things that we have started that we haven't finished. There maybe the thing that we're thinking about all the time is the fact that we didn't pay our bills. Well, go pay your bills. Get it done. Get it off your plate. Get all those little things right about and keep not working projects out there that you just weren't meant to do because you're just never going to do it. So there's some projects that we need to finish, and there are other projects that we just need to stop. The fastest way to finish a project, especially one that's not aligned with who you are, is just not do it. All right. If it's not in alignment with who you are and what you're trying to become, cut it out. All right. Now, for those of you who don't know, my name is David Adams with David Adams Speaks and People Steward Leadership. And the concept behind People Steward Leadership is we want to inspire leaders to embrace people stewardship so that teams will take personal responsibility for their own growth and development. What is that about? What that's about is putting people first and caring as much about people as we do about the organization. And we do that by helping people grow, not just with their professional goals, but with their personal goals. All right. So to me, it's very, very important. Now, what does that have to do with this? Everything, because we're talking about personal leadership right here. So we talked about step number one, take a step back. Step number two, up your inner circle. Step number three, tie up loose ends. Step number four, dig your well, not your 6-foot hole. Dig your well, not your 6-foot hole. What am I talking about? Well, I've talked about the book, Dig Your Well, You're Thirsty, many, many times, right? Which has to do with your network. Well, this well that we're talking about is digging your well of, what do you get in a well? You get water out of a well, right? Living water. You get water out of a well. And how do we put that life back into ourselves? It's by what we watch, what we listen to. Remember, the words of Hubert Humphreys, what goes through you sticks to. Probably consuming a little too much news. We've probably been consuming too much social media. And I'm not talking about uplifting videos like this. What I'm referring to is the constant scroll of negativity, And then we're watching over and over and over and over again. And pretty soon all of our time is eaten up. And we wonder why we feel like garbage. So instead of digging our hole, and you know what I'm talking about because the news makes you feel like dirt, makes you feel like you belong 6 feet under after you start listening to that nonsense. So we want to stop that and replace it with your positive podcast, with your books, with videos like this, right? Reading, attend a conference, those types of things. So we want to surround ourselves with positivity. All right. Dig your well, not your 6-foot grave. Okay, moving on. The next piece, touch base with your future. A lot of times when we're not feeling it, it's because we've either dwelling on the past too much and we haven't touched base with the future. If we touch base with the future and we know where we're going to be, if we take these specific actions, we know where we're going to be by touching base with the future. We know what we want. Now it starts to light us up a little bit, right? Because when we know what we want, we start to get excited about it. We start to jump around and start to take action. But the question is want. When you touch base with the future, when you look at yourself, your life, 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, 10 years in the future, what does it look like? What does the ideal best version of yourself look like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now? What do you want? How badly we want it, which means we know our why. We know that deep emotional rooted reason why we want it. Baby, we're going for it, right? We're going after it with everything that we have. So we touch base with the future because that's where the fire's lit. And we've got to write it on our mind. We write it here and we write it here. Why write it here? Which means we've created it spiritually. We're ready to go. Now it's in the planner. We do the work, right? It's not like we put something in the planner and then not do it, right? We get it written down. We block the time and then we get to work to get it done. We schedule the thing and we do the thing. Now, the last step is accountability. You got to hold yourself to account. Now, how do we do this? So I've got a friend of mine that I touch base with. She's written out a check. And if she doesn't have very specific things done, then she has to give that check to her friend, right? Whatever amount that happens to be for her, but it has to be a large enough dollar amount. And it has to be a cause that you're sending it to that you don't believe in, right? So whatever political party you belong to or that you affiliate with, write a check out to the opposite one. And if you don't get your stuff done, you give that check to a friend of yours. And if you don't finish it by your deadline, they mail it off. So you just, in a sense, you just donated to something you care absolutely nothing about. Chances are set positive goals and that you set positive consequences or rewards for yourself. But the idea here is that if the positives aren't motivating you, then set up those negative consequences for yourself if that will motivate you more. The point is, do whatever it takes for as long as it takes until we get what we want, right? We got to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes until we make it happen. Get some sleep. Get your brain back, right? Step 2, up your inner circle. Surround yourself with people that inspire you. Step 3, tie up the loose ends. It's all those little things that just aren't tied up that are distracting and they drain our energy like crazy. Watching endless hours of news, the negative stuff, just cut it out. You're digging your grave, rather you're digging your emotional grave as opposed to filling yourself with light, right? The next step. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Step 5, touch base with the future. Gotta touch base with the future. Gotta touch base with the future because that's where energy is just, that's where it comes from, right? So let's get after it. All right, number 6, write it on your heart and on your mind. Heart and mind. Heart and mind. So important, right? Get it written on your heart and your mind. And the last step is accountability. Make sure you set up an accountability partner. Get somebody that you check in with on a regular basis. Make sure you set those deadlines and set some boards as well as those negative consequences if you have to have them. Because sometimes it's the negative side of it that really will propel us forward. But the other thing is who are we doing it for, right? Who are we doing it for? Can make a big difference. I'm not sure what is going on with this thing. So weird. Well, I thought I ended the stream, but apparently I didn't. I'm still talking to myself. I apologize for that. But again,